Hello everyone, I'm Hayden Erickson, and today I will be discussing my research proposal on the dual comparison of mental and physical workload during intense push force. Mental workload is one of the most widely used concepts in ergonomics and human factors psychology that represents a topic of increasing importance. Measures of mental workload are used to determine the source of error and enhance work performance. Mental workload can affect human performance in many different ways. Now, physical workload deals with the physical load on the human body when performing activities such as work, sports, and jobs. The effects of performing occupational tasks that demand physical and mental efforts and combined and simultaneous approaches have very little research conducted on this matter, especially when push force isn't analyzed as a physical effort and solving mental strenuous arithmetic problems as a mental effort. In today's work environments, cognitive demands are increasing for workers while physical demands are decreasing. My research proposal focuses on emerging physical and mental workloads and comparing the two when it comes to a physically demanding task as well as figuring out questions as a mental workload at the same time. In a recent research study conducted by Vegas and his colleagues in 2022, the study examined the associations between mental workload and physical fatigue, body weight gain, and human error in employees from the Mexican manufacturing systems. The study used a system through a mediation analysis approach done with the mental workload questionnaire merged alongside with the NASATLX questionnaire. This study had participants that worked different manufacturing companies. The study's hypothesis is the mental workload can cause physical fatigue, body weight gain, and human error in manufacturing employees. The way they collected information from industries, the mental workload questionnaire was applied and uploaded to a Google format. While the authors were testing their hypothesis, they wanted to see the relationship between the observed variables tested with mediation analysis, because observed variables can act both as antecedent and consequence variables. The conclusion of this study also indicates that human errors exist significantly and directly associated only with the mental workload and not with any other variable. Mental workload has a positive indirect association, but a negative direct and total association with human error. Overall, the study can conclude that the hypothesis proposed that there is enough statistical evidence to declare that the mental workload on employees of manufacturing systems has a direct positive association with their physical fatigue. This study was important for me to consider for my own research proposal because it focuses on mental workload alongside with other variables in manufacturing employees. There was a similar research conducted by Campoya Morales and his colleagues in 2022. This research study explored physical and mental demands that were simulated in a lab environment to assess the workload. The methods used in this study used a push force dynamometer. Mental demands were stimulated solving arithmetic tasks. This proposed of combined and stimulate simultaneously assessment is to achieve a more comprehensive assessment approach and make it more effective than when using separate assessment methods for cognitive and physical ergonomic aspects. The objective of this study was to assess the effects of performing occupational tasks that involve both physical and mental efforts. The hypothesis of this study is as follows. The effects of performing occupational tasks that demand physical and mental efforts in combined simultaneous approaches can have an impact when pushing force is analyzed as a physical effort and solving arithmetic problems as a mental effort. The results of this study indicated that the time the task was significantly longer in the combined than the simultaneous approach, and performance was significantly higher in the combined than the simultaneous task. This particular study has similar methods in which I found it to be interesting and wanting to implement into my own research proposal. A similar study by Longo in 2018 conducted a study focusing on the investigation of relationships between usability and mental workload and examined the impact of the two constructs on human performance. A thorough correlation analysis of usability and mental workload of objective task performance was done. The purpose of this research was to empirically investigate the relationship between subject perception of usability and mental workload with a specific focus on their impact on objective user performance. Usability and mental workload are two uncorrelated constructs capturing different variances. Measured with a self-reporting techniques was how this study was conducted. The results strongly suggested that usability and mental workload are two non-overlapping constructs, and that they can be combined to significantly improve the prediction of human performance. This research correlates with my research proposal because of how it is viewing mental workload and task performance. There has not been a whole lot of research conducted on mental workload and physical workload together, and how they have an impact on human performance. My hypothesis is that engaging in a physical demanding task while being asked complex questions will have an impact on overall human performance. For my research study, I will be in need of 180 participants, male or female, it does not matter, will be examined, but these individuals must work in a manufacturing line of work. A manufacturing job is someone who is involved with the creation of new products, either from raw materials or by assembling direct components through physical, chemical, or mechanical means. These individuals on a daily basis could be encountering large amounts of physical demand on their bodies to get the job done. By further examination of physical workload, I want to additionally evaluate the mental workload of these individuals and how they may encounter. The participants must be at least 20 years of age and no older than 50 years of age. Individuals of higher or lower ages may skew the overall results of this study. Before the study begins, the participants will be asked numerous demographic questions as well as how physically able their bodies are to be able to push a heavy piece of push force equipment around. The materials that I will need for this research study is a diameter. This is a specific device that is used for measuring force. I will need a transmitter box and a cable to connect the diameter to a computer that has software compatibilities with the force measurements. So this includes a computer, software data, and a work table that the computer can sit on. I will also need a set of arithmetic tasks for the participant to complete. An anti-skid pad must be present to help ensure the safety of the participants while they engage in the first task. The participants will also be answering questionnaires, so I will need a pen and a paper in order for them to complete this. After the experiment is completed, an ANOVA test will be ran to help comprehend the different results of the different procedures and approaches. After the participants are informed about the layout of the experiment and the consent is taken, the participants will have to identify their maximum strength level. This is done by having the participants do 3 trial runs of push force, and the average of the 3 trials will be considered as the maximum strength moving forward with the experiment. This is where the diameter will be used to help determine the maximum strength level as well as the participants engage with the push force. There are also 2 different approaches used in this experiment to help test the hypothesis. The combined approach has this physical task performed, and after completion, the participant will be asked a series of 12 arithmetic questions. The procedure of the combined approach starts off by updating the system to the participant's maximum level. The system will emit a sound that tells the participant to stop to make sure they do not exceed the desired force level. Once the participant is ready, they will need to push the force meter for a total of 5 seconds. Once the participant reaches the maximum force level, that sound will be present. After completing the physical activity, the participant will be given the questionnaire of the arithmetic questions. There will be 12 per sheet. The individual will be asked to repeat this process a total of 5 times. After this is accomplished, the participant will be given some time to rest and then will be given a final questionnaire to answer in order to help determine the results. The procedure of the simultaneous approach are similar except for when the participant is instructed to engage in the push force portion. While they are pushing, they will be asked the 12 arithmetic questions out loud. This questionnaire will be given to them verbally while they are engaging in the physical activity. They will be asked the same questions and will be instructed to complete this a total of 5 times as well. In the end, the participant will be given time to rest and will have to answer the final questionnaire to help determine the results of the study. The participants will be different for each approach. I expect that while engaging in physical demanding tasks while being asked complex questions will have a negative impact on overall human performance. The overall results from each procedure approach will be considered to determine if the participants performed better answering the questions while performing push force, or if they did better answering the questions after the push force task was completed. I would expect that being asked questions impacting their mental workload while also trying to complete a physically demanding task will have an effect on human performance. I believe that simultaneous approach will have more or of a negative impact on performance scores. I believe this because while executing the physical tasks participants had to solve the arithmetic question simultaneously, so this means at the same time, which caused a greater and faster mental fatigue than the combined approach. This would result in lower levels of performance. This also shows the effects a mental workload has when physical workload is paired with it. In conclusion, during tasks of physical and mental workload in combined and simultaneous approaches help identify these have effects on overall human performance. This research proposal was based on previously done research to help determine the correlation between mental and physical workload. On this slide, I have my references that you can view. If you have any questions or concerns, please email me. I hope you all have a great day. Thanks for listening.